Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I am here to bring you news of a very unexpected new Pokemon game. It is Pokemon Unite, and it is a Pokemon MOBA. Or for those of you that don't know the term MOBA, don't use it very often, it is Pokemon League of Legends. Oh. Yeah, this one's a little bit weird, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, maybe we should have been able to guess this. We did know that Timmy was working on a Pokemon game, and we know that Timmy is owned by Tencent, and we know that Timmy actually made Arena of Valor, which is both a MOBA and arguably the biggest game in the world with 200 million active players. Well, turns out Timmy are now working on this. And make no mistake about it, right? If we look at screenshots of the game, it looks very, very much like you take a game like Arena of Valor or League of Legends, you whack a bunch of Pokemon in, and then that's the game. That is Pokemon Unite. Now, of course, people are angry. People were expecting a remake of Gen 4, remake of Diamond and Pearl. I made a video yesterday. I made a prediction. I told you my prediction was going to be Let's Go, i.e. Let's Go Johto, second generation of games. I still feel good about that prediction. I made that prediction honestly. I showed my working. But no, ladies and gentlemen, and like I say, this was guessable. I mean, Joe from Cerebi.net told us it was probably going to be the Timmy mobile game. He was right. Really should listen to Joe more. He's generally right about this kind of stuff. And the thing is that the player base as a whole is not particularly happy. Now, as I record right now, we're looking at 41,000 likes and 65,000 dislikes. And honestly, it's gone up by 2,000 dislikes in the last couple of minutes since I started recording this video. But I don't think the unhappiness is necessarily coming from this looks like a terrible game. I think an awful lot of what people are disliking here is the fact that they set these expectations which were not met. And we were never told that this was going to be a remake of Gen 4 or anything like that. We just thought it ourselves. So that's what it's not. What it is looks awesome. Now, for those that don't know, it is basically a 5v5 game where there's 5 players on each team and each player picks a Pokemon. You then have yourself a map which is split into 2 sides. Now, as it stands at the moment, it seems like there is essentially only one map, and this might change in the future, but MOBAs often do run on the same map over and over and over, so don't be terribly upset about that. And essentially what you have to do is you have to capture one of the 5 scoring points. And when you capture one of the 5 scoring points, you wait for it, score some points. Now, if you stop in them on your own side, they act as healing. Your opponent's side, you score points. Your side, they act as healing. But you can actually destroy these points as well to, remove some of your opponent's options, which is kind of hilarious when you think about it. And one of the coolest things for me here is that this does include both capturing wild Pokemon and fighting wild Pokemon. I love that, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love that. At the end of the day, yes, this is clearly a MOBA, but it's a Pokemon game. And it needs to be a Pokemon game. You need to be able to catch wild Pokemon like that Stuffle you see on the screen here. You must be able to fight wild Pokemon. We saw a bunch of IPOM in the trailer. That, to me, it's Pokemon, right? If we don't have that, that kind of ruins Pokemon. So I love that they are really taking the MOBA and adding the Pokemon in. Yes, it is very much a MOBA, but it is also a Pokemon game. And I love that. Now, as you capture Pokemon, beat Pokemon, etc. in the arena, you do level up. and you actually evolve. So if you pick Charizard, you don't actually start as Charizard, you start as Charmander, you start at level 1, and then you go through basically trying to take down Pokemon, capture Pokemon, and then when you reach a certain level, you evolve into Charmeleon, and then when you reach another level, you evolve into Charizard. We did see a game being played out in the reveal video, stream, whatever you want to call it. Stream's probably about right. And we did see that everybody was evolving up. But of course, that does add a bit more strategy into the game. Do you go straight after your opponent's Pokemon before you've evolved up to try and take them out nice and early? Now, you can take out your opponent's Pokemon. They do recover, just like in a regular MOBA. When you take out a character, that character is essentially knocked out the game for a little while, but then they come back. And as you evolve up, you actually get to learn moves, and you get to choose which move you learn. It's not always going to be the same. As you go through and you choose which moves to learn and which skills to focus on, that is actually going to change your experience playing through game after game, which I think is awesome. One thing I don't know how I feel about: double points in the final 2 minutes. That seems a bit... I mean, this can go good or bad, right? If you've got one team that takes a while to come together but then starts crushing, it's sad that if they come together more than halfway through the game, they're just not going to win. It also makes it far less likely that games are going to get away from you, i.e. your opponent is just going to jump ahead and run away with the game. But by the same token, if you are having a good game, you're going to lose some games where you were the better team purely on the basis that your opponent had a really good last minute or two. And that seems kind of harsh, frankly. Though I do think this is one of those things where we really are going to have to wait until the game's out, play a bunch of games, and we'll really be able to decide at that stage how unfair this is. Now, it is a 5v5 game. Why is it not a 6v6 game? Bearing in mind that Pokemon... The general rule is MOBAs tend to be 5v5, is my understanding. I'm not a huge MOBA guy. I have actually played quite a lot of Arena of Valor. I played that on my iPad a while back. And for anyone that's wondering, Arena of Valor is out on the Switch. So if you're looking to get into this, that might be something you can use to prep yourself in advance. But the short answer here is essentially that it works fine 5v5, and 6v6 would end up introducing complications and making the game less fun. It really is as simple as that. Now, there are also Unite moves, which are very powerful moves, which basically have to be timed. Now, I should mention there are both short range and long range attacks, or close range and long range attacks. But these Unite attacks, you basically build them up over the course of the game, and then you unleash them essentially at the perfect time. That sounds interesting to me. Again, you're just adding on an extra layer of strategy here, and I am all in favour of that. Now, another thing that doesn't come into it, there is no type advantage here. A Blastoise is not going to hit for extra damage against a Charizard. The Charizard is not going to hit for extra damage against a Venusaur. And I think that's got to be the way to do it. We saw in Pokémon Tournament there is no type advantage. And in a game like this where you just pick one character and that's basically your lot going through, it would be harsh, if I'm honest with you, to put the type advantage in there. Now, in terms of Pokemon that have been confirmed, we have 10 Pokemon that have been confirmed. We got Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Pikachu, not Raichu, Clefable, Machamp, Gengar, Snorlax, Lucario, and Talonflame. Very interesting to me that we literally have 2 non-Gen 1 Pokemon, Lucario and Talonflame. I don't think anyone would have guessed that of the 2 non-Gen 1 Pokemon, one of them would have been Talonflame. Like, Lucario's super popular. Lucario was playable in Pokémon Tournament, etc. But Talonflame? There's going to be more than 10 characters, but those are the 10 that have been revealed so far. And we probably do need to talk about the characters now. Because you see, this is a free-to-start game. I don't like free-to-start games. I like playing games and buying games and just going. Because essentially, and we've seen this in other MOBAs in the past, like Arena of Valor, You start off with a small amount of characters you can use, and then you essentially earn more characters over time, which puts you in one of two camps. You either grind until you get the character you want, or you spend real-world money to get the character you want. It means if the character you want to play as is all of the characters, there's going to either be an awful lot of grinding, or you're going to end up spending more money on the game than you would spend if you just bought the game outright. This is not confirmed. Nothing about price has been confirmed, other than the fact that it's going to be a free-to-start game. All I can do is tell you the models that other MOBAs, like Arena of Valor, which was made by Timmy, have used, and unfortunately, you're probably going to have a couple of Pokemon that you can play for free, and then it's either going to be grinding or buying other Pokemon. If you want to have one or two Pokemon that you really become an expert with, that's really not such a big deal at all. If you want to try and use every Pokemon, that is a much, much bigger deal. Now, in terms of release, we were not given a date. We weren't even given a hint or an indication of the date. What we were given was information that it will be released on Switch and Android and iOS, so basically phones and Switch and tablets. And we were told that cross-platform play will be available, so whether you're playing on Switch or mobile, they've got your back. And I'm really, really hoping you can share a profile across devices, because I'm going to be playing primarily on the Switch here, but I would love to be able to, I'm out and about and I've got a few minutes to spare and I'm kind of bored. Oh wait, I've got Pokemon Unite on my phone. I can just log into my account and get rolling. So I really, really hope I can share my profile across devices. That would make me very happy. So that's what we know, and that's what we can deduce from what we've been told. There's so much more we need to learn here, primarily the full roster of Pokemon and the release date, as well as the pricing model. But for now, count me as excited. This is going to be a game that I download on day one, and honestly, for the first couple of weeks, I'm going to play a huge amount of this game. Might well end up streaming a bunch. The real question is going to be, how do I feel after that? Does the pricing model put me off? Does it hold my attention for months on end? Arena of Valor didn't, but Arena of Valor didn't have Pokemon in. I tell you what though, you give me Mamoswine as one of the playable characters here, and I assure you I am in and grinding until the end of time. I know people are disappointed because this is not what they expected to get, but I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this looks like a really fun game, and I am really, really excited. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. Oh, and if anyone's wondering, since we've been recording in the 12, 13 minutes it's taken me to record this, we've gone up to 43,000 likes, but we've also gone up to 70,000 dislikes. Ouch. Thank you very much for watching. Look after yourselves till next time. That is the most important thing as always. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.